Diversity in the living world. Let's revise and recall. Plants are usually grouped into herbs, shrubs, and trees, based on their height, nature of stem and branches. The stem conducts water from roots to the leaves and other parts, and it transports food from the leaves to other parts of the plant. Green leaves make their food by the process of photosynthesis, using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. The pattern of veins on a leaf is called venation, and it can be either reticulate or parallel. Introduction. Observe the living creatures around you in school, outside your home, or in a park. You will find different kinds of plants. Though they differ in their sizes, they have the same structural similarities. In the park, you might also observe that butterfly is sifting on a flower, squirrel climbing the trunk of a tree, or a bird sifting on the branch of tree. Variety of insects, birds and animals are also found in nature. When we move out for a nature hunt, we observe different kinds of live living creatures around us. Let's go to a nearby garden for a nature walk. What do you observe there? You observe different kinds of plants. Some very tall, whilst some are bushes and grasses. Different plants have different shapes of leaves, different colors and smells of flower. In garden, variety of insects, birds and animals, you also observe that butterfly is sitting on the flower, squirrel climbing the trunk of a tree, and bird sitting on the branch of a tree can be found in nature. These living creatures, including plants and animals, make our nature beautiful. How to group plants and animals. As you arrange your books and clothes in groups in your cupboard, similarly, plants and animals are also divided in groups based on some similar features. How to group plants. Plants can be grouped by their appearance, the place where they grow, and many more ways. Herbs. Herbs are small plants with soft and green stem and a lifespan of a few months to 1 year. Example: mustard, wheat, maize, and coriander. Shrubs. Shrubs are medium-sized woody plants. Their side branches start from just above the ground. They survive for several years. Example: rose, lemon. Fact file. Flowers did not always exist on Earth according to fossil records. They first appeared around 140 million years age. Trees. Trees are tall and large plants with hard and woody stem. They have one main stem called trunk. The branches arise after reaching a certain height. Trees can survive for more than 10 years. Example: mango, jamon, guava, etc. Creepers and clamors. Look at the stems of money plant, mint, gourd, grapevine, pear, and cucumber. Are there plants other than herbs, shrubs, and trees? You will find that the stems in these plants are weak, but some of the plants spread on the ground while others climb up with the support of neighboring structures. Plants that cannot stand upright and spread on the grounds are called creepers, like mint and gourd plants. Plants which climb up with the support of neighboring structures are called climbers, like money plant and pea plant. Go to friendly. The spider plant is known to reduce 95% of common toxins and pollutants in the air in just a couple of days. Fact file. Plants are unique from other living organisms in the fact that they have chloroplasts, like mitochondria. Chloroplasts have their own DNA. Parts of a plant. Pull out a small wild plant from the soil and look at it carefully. You will find that the plant can be divided into two main parts. An underground part in the soil called the root system. an above-ground part above the soil called the shoot system. Root system. The root system is the underground non-green part of a plant. It consists of the primary root and its branches. There are two types of root systems. Taproot system. Some plants like carrot, mustard, pear and balsam have a main root. It grows vertically into the soil and gives out branches. They are known as taproots. Fibrous root system. In some plants like grasses, a number of thin fiber-like roots arise from the base of the stem. They spread out in the soil. They are called fibrous roots. Functions of roots. Roots anchor. Fix the plant to the soil. Roots take in water and minerals from the soil. These are the sent upwards to the parts above the ground. Roots help in holding the soil together, thus preventing erosion of soil particles by wind or water. In some plants, food is stored in the roots. These roots, as in case of carrot, turnip, sweet potato, and radish, are eaten by us. Do you know? Peas, beans, ground nuts, moong, and gram possess nodules on their root. The root nodules provide shelter and food to bacteria, and in return, the bacteria gives nitrogenous nutrition to the plants. Thus, they live together for mutual benefit. This process of two organisms living together for mutual benefit is called symbiosis. Shoot system. The shoot system is the aerial part of the plant. It includes the main stem, branches, leaves, buds, flowers, fruits and seeds. It develops from the plumule of the seed. Fact file. The stem grows towards sunlight, showing positive phototropism, and grows away from the soil and against gravity, which means it shows negative geotropism. Stem. The stem is the main axis of the shoot system, which bears the branches, leaves, flowers, buds, fruits, and seeds. The place from where the branches and leaves arise on the stem is called a node. The portion of the stem between two nodes is called an internode. The tip of the stem or a branch bears a bud called the apical bud or terminal bud. This bud helps in the lengthwise growth height of the plant. The leaves make an angle with the stem. This angle is known as the axil. Buds are also present in these axils. These buds are called axillary buds and give rise to branches. In case of a herb, the stem is green and tender, but in a tree, the stem becomes hard and woody and is called the trunk. It is brownish in color. In climbers and creepers, the stem is weak. Functions of the stem. The stem helps to keep the plant upright. The stem and its branches bear the leaves and hold the leaves in such a manner that they get enough light for photosynthesis. The stem transports water and minerals from the roots to the leaves. It also carries the food produced by the leaves to other parts of the plant. When young, the green stems prepare food through photosynthesis. In some cases, stems are modified onion, garlic, ginger, and turmeric. In cactus, the stem becomes fleshy and green and prepares food for the plant. Leaves, the food factories of plants. The leaves are green and flattened structures. They arise from the nodes of stem and branches. A typical leaf has three parts: leaf base, stalk or petiole, and leaf blade. Different plants have leaves of different shapes and sizes. Observe the shape and size of leaves of different plants in your locality. Green leaves contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. With the help of chlorophyll, leaves absorb sunlight and prepare food by taking carbon dioxide and water. This process is called photosynthesis. Oxygen gas is released in this process. On the surface of the leaves, tiny pores called stomata are present. Leaves take gases for respiration and photosynthesis through stomata. Leaves give out extra amount of water in the form of vapor through the stomata. This process is called transpiration. Oxygen produced during photosynthesis is also given out through stomata. Venation. The veins are arranged in a particular pattern on the leaf, which is called venation. It is of following two types. 1. Parallel venation. When the veins arise from the base of midrib and run parallel to each other, the venation is known as parallel venation. This is commonly seen in the leaves of bamboo, banana, sugarcane, and palm trees. 2. Reticulate venation. The midrib is prominent and produces lateral veins in reticulate venation. The veins keep on dividing further to form a network of fine veins. This type of venation is found in mango leaves, peepal leaves, etc. Functions of a leaf. Leaves manufacture food for the plant using water and carbon dioxide in presences of sunlight and chlorophyll. Leaves are thus called food factories of plants. The food prepared is a sugar called glucose, and it is stored as starch in the leaves. Carbon dioxide plus water, chlorophyll, light. Food plus oxygen. Leaves help in gaseous exchange for the process of respiration. Leaves take in oxygen and given out carbon dioxide through stomata. Leaves help in losing excess water through stomata in form of water vapor. This is called transpiration. Modification of the leaf. In many plants, leaves perform many functions other than the production of food. These leaves are called modified leaves. Leaves modified as tendrils. Leaves of some plants, such as the sweet pea, are modified in thin, spring-like structure called tendrils. The tendrils give support to the plants. For example, pea plant, morning glory, lily, etc. Leaves modified in cactus, prickly pear, barbel, etc. Leaves are reduced to very fine spiny structure called spines. These modified leaves reduce the rate of transpiration and protect the plant from enemies. Leaves modified to eat insects. In some carnivorous plants, the leaves are modified into pitcher or bladder-like structures to trap, hold, and digest insects and small animals. These trapped animals are digested within these structures and serve as a source of nitrogen toward the plant. Types of leaves. Plants have two types of leaves. Simple leaves. Compound leaves. Simple leaves. A leaf having a single or undivided lamina is called a simple leaf. It has an axillary bud in its axil. Mango, jamun and dahlia have simple leaves. Compound leaves. A compound leaf is the one in which a number of leaflets are borne on a single stalk. The leaflets do not bear axillary buds in their individual axils. The stalk of a compound leaf is called the rachis, which bears an axillary bud. Rose, gram and neem have compound leaves. Fact file. The part of leaf by which it is attached to the stem is called petiole, and the broad green part of the leaf is called lamina. Functions of a leaf. The main function of leaves is photosynthesis, that is, manufacture of food. All green leaves have chlorophyll, which traps energy from sunlight and helps in synthesizing glucose from carbon dioxide and water. Plants give out extra water from the leaves in the form of vapor through stomata. It cools the plant body during hot summer days. Stomata are mainly present on the ventral surface of the leaf. In some cases, leaves are modified to store food, as in the onion, or reduced to spines to minimize water loss, as in the cactus, or modified to trap insects, as in the pitcher plant. The leaves of plants breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. However, during the daytime, leaves use carbon dioxide from the air to perform photosynthesis and release oxygen into the atmosphere. Flower. A flower is the reproductive part of a plant. It helps the plant to produce more its kind. Different flowers have different smells, but there are some flowers which do not have any smell. Flowers may differ in shape, size, and color, but all flowers have the same basic parts. Often, each flower has a stalk called a pedicel. If the pedicel is absent, the flowers are called sessile. There are some green leaf-like structures in the outermost circle of a flower. These are called sepals. Next to the sepals, colored, bright, showy, and attractive leafy structures are present. These are petals. They attract insects and other animals. Stamens are the male parts of a flower. Each stamen has a swollen tip called anther, which is present on a stalk called filament. Anthers are filled with pollen grains. In the center, a flask-shaped carpel is present. It is also called pistil. It is the female part of a flower. Each carpel is divisible into stigma, style, and ovary. The ovary contains ovals. On maturity, the anthers of a flower burst and pollen grains are released. These pollens are transferred from the anthers to the stigma of the same flower or other flowers. This process is called pollination. Pollination takes place with the help of wind, water, insects, and animals. Most flowers are pollinated by insects. You must have seen insects like butterflies flitting from one flower to another. When they move, they brush against the anthers and pollen grains may stick to their body. As they reach another flower, they transfer the pollen grains to the stigma of that flower. Some flowers are pollinated by the wind and some by animals like bats. Once a pollen grain reaches the stigma, it begins to grow a pollen tube. The pollen tube grows down through the style to the ovary. Two male cells travel down each pollen tube. One of them joins with the egg cell female cell in the oval. This fusion of the male cell and the female cell is called fertilization. After fertilization, the ovary grows into a fruit and the ovules develop into seeds. Go to friendly. Preserved flower table showpieces have become increasingly popular in recent years as people seek out more sustainable and environmentally friendly decor options. Types of flowers. In most plants, all the four walls, sepals, petals, stamens, carpels are present in a flower. Such flowers are called complete flowers. For examples, petunia, mustard, hibiscus, and gulmohar. In some flowers, one or more walls is missing. Such flowers are called incomplete flowers. For example, maize, date, palm, and mulberry. Functions of a flower. Flowers are reproductive organs of plant. The ovary of flower develops into fruit and its ovules from seeds. The seeds grow into new plants. Flowering plants are grown to beautify their surroundings. The nectar of flowers is collected by honey bees to prepare honey. Perfumes are prepared from flowers. Cloves are dried flower buds. These are used for flavoring food and as medicine, fruit and seed. After fertilization, the ovary changes into fruit, and the ovule inside it changes into a seed. So a fruit can be defined as a ripened ovary. The fruit is generally made up of a fruit wall and seeds. Some fruits have a single seed like mango, and some fruits have many seeds like the orange, lemon, apple and guava. A seed contains a baby plant and food for the new plant. It is covered by a seed coat. In some seeds, the food is stored in cotyledons. The baby plant inside a seed has a plumule and a radicle. When the seeds get suitable conditions like water, temperature and oxygen in the soil, they germinate into a young plant. How to group animals? Just like plants, animals also divided into different groups based on their similar characteristics. All animals prefer to live in the places where food is available in plenty and which are safe for them and their babies. These places are called habitats. A pond is a habitat, a forest is another habitat, and the seashore is also a habitat. Plants grow better and survive longer in a particular environment. Some plants grow in water. Example, lotus. Some plants prefer to live in dry areas. Example, cactus. Can you think of some more plants which can live in other habitats? Types of habitats. Living things live on land, in water or on trees. Based on this, habitats are of the following types. 1. Terrestrial habitat. 2. Aquatic habitat. 3. Aerial habitat. 4. Arboreal habitat. Terrestrial habitat. This includes habitats of all the organisms which live and propagate on land. The terrestrial habitats have rapid fluctuations in the climate, temperature, moisture, etc. The factors of terrestrial habitat vary with the season and the altitude of the region. The terrestrial habitat is not uniform everywhere, as several barriers, such as desert, mountains, rivers, etc., are found there. Aquatic habitat. This includes habitats of organisms that live and propagate in water. Water absorbs and loses heat gradually. Therefore, sudden fluctuations in temperature are not found in aquatic habitat. Aerial habitat. This includes habitat of organisms that use sky for their activities. Birds and bats come under this category. Arboreal habitat. Arboreal habitats include habitats in trees. Organisms that live on trees, like monkeys and squirrels, are arboreal organisms. Adaptation. We know that only those organisms survive that have characteristics which help them to cope with a particular environment. Those which cannot adapt are eliminated. The presence of features or certain habits which help an organism to live in a particular habitat or environment is called adaptation. Different living organisms adapt to live in their surroundings in different ways. Adaptations involve a combination of features such as shape, size, color, structure, and behavior. For example, a honeybee remains closely adapted to its particular mode of life. It has many adaptations such as tubular mouth parts for sucking nectar, hair, and brushes for gathering pollen, wax glands for production of wax, and making shelters for the young ones from it. In addition to this, they have an intricate division of labor in the colony. Likewise, a fish shows many adaptations for aquatic life. It has a streamlined body provided with fins which enables it to swim in water and presence of gills for breathing. Do you know why fish die if taken out from the water? Humans, on the other hand, show generalized adaptations. They are able to do many things and are capable of adjusting to diverse habitats. Adaptations occur through useful variation which are inherited. Fact file. The organisms, both plants and animals, living in a habitat are its biotic components, and rocks, soil, air and water in the habitat constitute its abiotic components. Go to friendly. All non-living things like plants and trees have the potential to create healthy environment for human things, and they are other living beings. They are the main factor of both lives. Habitat adaptations in plants. There are three types of plants on the basis of habitat: xerophytes, hydrophytes, mesophytes. Xerophytes. Those are the plants that grow in deserts or in very dry places where there is scarcity of water. Common xerophytes are cacti, agave, asparagus, euphorbia, yucca, etc. Xerophytic adaptations. Leaves are either absent, very small, or reduced to spines. This helps to reduce water loss through transpiration. The stem is green and it prepares food for the plant, so photosynthesis occurs in stems. Stems become spongy to store water. The stem is covered with a thick, waxy layer. This helps in retaining water inside the plant body. The root system goes deep into the soil for absorbing water. Hydrophytes. These are the plants which grow in watery places or the places which remain very wet throughout the year. Common hydrophytes are hydrilla, Vallisneria, Pistia, water hyacinth, lotus utriculare, etc. Hydrophytic adaptations have poorly developed the root system. The root hairs and root cap are absent. Leaves are mostly thin and ribbon-like. Tissues usually have air spaces to keep the plants afloat. Cuticle and stomata are absent. Do you know? Regions situated between the equator and the two tropics are not and wet all round the year, with rich vegetation. Mesophytes. These are the plants which we see around us. They grow in moderate conditions of water. Most of the cultivated plants belong to this category. Some common mesophytes are mango, apple, guava, neem, lychee, lime and orange. Mesophytic adaptations have well-developed roots with roots hairs. The stem is solid and freely branched. Leaves are generally large and have various shapes. Stomata are present on both sides of the leaves. Fact file. Mesophytes are terrestrial plants which are adapted to neither particularly dry nor particularly wet environments.